10 minutes away from the 11 o'clock hour here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning and welcome once again to another edition of the New Times Program right here on Nice Radio. Of course, the New Times Program is a production of the New Democratic Party. It's the platform where we continue to present the plans and the policies and the way forward on the good governance here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under what should be an NDP led administration. At the head, of course, the president and leader of the New Democratic Party, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, along with the other esteemed colleagues of the NDP, charting the way forward for a better and brighter St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Again, a pleasant good morning to you and welcome to the New Times program. And as always, before we get the program started, we start off with a reading from the Bible. And as always, my reading is taken from the book of Romans, chapter 1, and we read from verse 28, which reads as follows. Furthermore, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a deprived mind, so that they do what ought not to be done. They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossipers, slanderers, God haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding, no fidelity, no love, no mercy. Although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these very things, but also approve of those who practice them. A pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. My name is Colin Graham, and as always, it's a pleasure being here on the New Times program. Let me take this opportunity straight away, right off the bat, to acknowledge the absence of our president and leader, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, who is out of state. And while out of state, acting on his behalf is the vice president of the New Democratic Party, Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock, joins us here in the studio. And let me say, good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Colin, and thanks for leaving out the acting. I wouldn't go as far as saying you're set up, but it's all right. But that's where I headed. Morning, Colin. Morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Morning.
I always love to be in the studio with you, Colin, and the positive energy I bring, It's good.
All right, and it's always a pleasure having you here too as well. I only get you when the president is out. So
Yeah.
other than that, But
But
good
he
morning.
messaged me for the morning already. He said all is going well on his side. We're working on many fronts. He said, but don't get too accustomed.
Let's keep the seat warm.
Yeah, let's keep it warm.
All right. Well,
He did genuinely wish me a good day on the program today.
Mhm.
And thanks for holding the fort there.
All right, good. Well, we know that you're more than competent and capable of holding the ship steady while he is out. The New Democratic Party has been having a wonderful week so far. You had your political meeting, your season of reason, as you dub it, continued this weekend. Siobhan John had her office opening on Friday, I think it was, in North Windward. And there's lots of talks. The New Democratic Party's convention is coming up.
Thursday before that, we had the ratification of the two new people who turned it up, Shallow in North Leeward and
Huggins, Corey Huggins.
Conroy.
Conroy Huggins.
Yeah.
So the NDP has been really having the best week ever so far, and convention is just around the corner. So where do we even start with all of this, Major? How are you feeling about how the New Democratic Party?
Start calling by giving thanks and praise, and at a personal level, I said it Saturday night at my season of reason meeting. Oh, we say a lot of things, but people like Daniel Cummings, myself, Patel, Nature, Terence, the president himself have very good reasons to feel happy at this time in the political history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because we have been there for nearly 23 years, 24 coming up, in the wilderness, holding the struggle, and fighting on a rock of principle for the democracy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the advancement of our people. And that's not easy. 23, 24 years is a long, long time to commit to a cause, or any cause for that matter. But when you see that your work is bearing fruits, you get a good feel about it, And I said I thank God that we have been here long enough to hold on long enough to see the emotions of the Kishore Shallows, the Conroy Huggins, two of the new declared candidates for the season.
Right.
But we have others who are there in the waiting. Olavon King, the public relations officer, you know, we have seen come true in that same period of time. People like our own Senator John in North Windward, Senator Bruce in South Central Windward. Um, even though I wouldn't call her a youth girl, a youth lady, your own Lavon Velox, I mean, to make the decision that she's making at this time to bring her wisdom and her experience and
Right.
to be on the party and to be to go forward. You have to say thank you, Jesus, that the others are prepared to take the baton and take it to the next level. So it's a good thing for us, you know, and that we are attracting worthy,
Mhm.
principled young people, and we are attracting them even in opposition. So they are not coming to the political process with a feeling of entitlement or that they are protected and they will get handouts and they're gonna eat a food. They know that they are coming here to make a sacrifice, um, to display humility and honesty and integrity, and they understand that that will take place in a culture that is tried and tested from foundation members to James up. They are on the right side of history. So it's a good feeling for us. Very good feeling. So I was overjoyed last Thursday to be in the company of the president, our other parliamentary colleagues, Chairman Cummings and VP Nature. Pastor was there as well, rejoicing as well, because he's trained on his new caretaker from North Leeward, and Ben, present in the room, several other party members, I think we all left that meeting in a joyous mood that we have momentum. We have momentum.
All right. Let's just talk quickly because we know these two gentlemen, the recent establishments or the recent appointments from the New Democratic Party through the ratification that they will become candidates in the upcoming general elections. I know they're going to have their moment to shine coming up for the convention. But let's go back to the selection process and what it has been like. Um, how happy are you with the party by extension with the selection of Mr. Huggins in Central Leeward?
Well, I had the privilege of being in company with the president again, the public relations officer,
Mhm.
others, to go to curtains in Bagalan to meet with Conroy and other friends and colleagues of his. And I was there the last election when Ben was the candidate. So I can measure the difference in the reception and the fertility of the ground. And I can see how people were coming out rejoicing, meeting and greeting him. Most of them calling him by his name, Nick, and another one that he has, and so forth. One yard we went in particular, um, the young lady that came from the post stood up and momentarily froze. And then she made the statement, "Well, may you be on the same bench in school?" She remembered him from her home or secondary school days. And then there was the embracing and the rejoicing. And you can see the number of people who are turning it around. Well, if for you, I mean, I had a choice, I mean, so you could see that the labor ground is shifting and changing under his feet. And he has a Christian background. And I'll tell you that too when I speak about Senator John in a minute from now, which goes well for him. He has the humility. He has a good people interface background. As he will tell you, he was a foundation member in forming the Curtains football team. And he remembers me in my younger days when I was the president of football. We will not count those years when he was bringing his own team. And it's a pride for him that that football team is still here today. In fact, they were many of them were wrong when we were in Baga, in Curtains a few weeks ago. So he's building on that. And maybe let me leap forward now. When Senator John had him speak at How To Do last Friday night in Georgetown, you know, um, his was a very powerful, animated presentation, and you can see that whoever he's going to take on, they're up to a challenge because he can represent himself. He in my mind, is a person who can be the drawing card at his constituency meetings. He doesn't have to depend on whoever's coming in to lend him support or the supporting cast. He would be the one who will be carrying his meeting with his own message, his own narrative, and his own presence. So that has to be comforting for us in the New Democratic Party, and disconcerting for the others who would have to come to face him. Let me say the same brother and sister quickly calling. I noticed, and I said so Saturday night in Lago Heights, because the first one out the block I saw was from one of the propagandists launching a new attack on Nature Stevens, suggesting that he has done little for all the years he's been in Parliament. And before the powder had dried on that, it followed up very quickly with a similar exercise with Terence, who has also been in the Parliament now for the last 25 years, 5 terms in office. And Terence has been in the political vineyard in the Southern Grenadines with his focus on education and infrastructure in the Southern Grenadines in a way that very few have been able to do. A wonderful job. But it served me notice that today for Nature, tomorrow for Terence, and the day after is for Daniel and for me and for Fitz and for Friday and for. So they're coming for us, which means that we have to make sure we have oil in our lamp, and our own supporters have to be ready to know what they're doing as they try to dismantle us one by one, that we are a collective and prepared to defend us. You are going to be hosting programs here when they come with this nonsense. Deal with it. Both with Margaret will do it without a blink and support. And people like Kenson will do it as a 2 and will do it. You know, we have to have our people there, Luzette.
Push back on the
Yeah,
rhetoric.
we have to push back on the rhetoric, on the nonsense,
All right.
So I'm happy for them. It's very encouraging. And Kishore is Kishore. He has his own academic background, which will help him to fend off a lot of them because when they're foul-mouthed people.
Are you surprised with the
Mhm.
kind of ripple that we've been seeing since Kishore has come forward and has now been ratified as the candidate that will take on?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. And maybe it's at a time in which I'm known for candor
Mhm.
in the New Democratic Party because all the way leading up to this exercise, there were other. I mean, Northlew was just candidate rich.
Mhm.
Because I think you can call him. You had people like the president of the teachers union who was offering himself substance. You had a young man from Spring Village. I think Williams was his name. I also met him in Wrong Hill in Trumaka. Make sure I have my geography right. Again, good, decent, and qualified persons. Um, then you had they call him Ochi, a guy O'Gara, who's a lawyer, probably is based in Trinidad. His probably was the most popular name being called. And everyone was saying that if he ran, he will win. That's probably true. Um, but they were also saying the same thing. If Kishore ran, he will be true. The difference between the both of them is that Kishore is a name brand. He's a game changer. And I think that is what has bothered a lot of them. He has moved some dirt from under the feet of the Unity Labour Party. And the more they go after him, the more they will elevate him. And I've told him that. So don't be afraid.
All right.
So, but sometimes we are a little timid. We get a little timid about this thing. Western George.
Mhm.
There's a lot of calling for Kishaka. Um, Cupid.
Mhm.
He met with me personally to introduce himself and present his credentials and ask for my support and so on and so forth. Very early in the game, I had that request from him. Highly qualified person, sports and culture, and there's a wave in Western George for him. He will be in the same vineyard as Curtis, who's busy eating the food, getting the people in sports and culture and so on and so forth. But how fortunate we are in the very same Western George. We have a Louis Mitchell, one of the most highly qualified academicians. And we have to also have some gender sensitivity too, because we have to have a balance. And the daughter of the founder of the party, she could have been out there long time ago. She could have been in the Southern Grenadines. Your father could have positioned her. He could have said when he was coming out, he wanted to hold Northern Grenadines for her. And we could look wrong. But for her to be coming in opposition, as happened with her father, and also offering herself in the same seat, is good for our democracy. I have a sense of where it is going at the moment. But I can't be afraid to say that we have great candidates, and there's another young 30-year-old young lady who I believe there's a place for in the Senate and down the road. So it is NDP is looking good. We're looking good.
And all of this leading up to the party's annual convention. How you see all of this dynamics playing out now, not just for the supporters and the delegates who will be there, but by extension, the country who will be watching closely as to how things continue to shape up with the New Democratic Party leading up to the general elections.
Well, the convention is still going to be a two-part exercise. This Sunday coming here is going to be the business session. It may not be as raucous as some would expect, in that someday you have to apply your heart to wisdom. And as best as I know, there are going to be elections. I think most of the people who are putting themselves up for candidates, the vice presidents, nature myself, I the section and the deputies and so on and so forth, because I think the president and the section are not up there. They're for 3 or 4 years terms. I don't remember all my constitutional things. The treasurer, and people, they have performed, and they're not likely to have a great amount of challenge. But it must be an occasion for reflection and storytelling, and motivating and uplifting our faithfuls and our followers, and outlining the course ahead. And the week after, we go down to North Leeward. Um, there's a song that's coming through my head. We're going to have a grand time. You can sing, Colin?
I tried, but it don't work for me. I bet that they talking.
If you can't help me out, it
I can't back up you know that one.
makes sense. I'm going to the second,
Yeah.
second
Tear
verse,
the back up over here.
you know. But Baptist people, they call it. We're going to have a grand time. I hope I get that this morning. We're going to have a grand time in North Leeward when all our members are there, uplifted for this exercise. So things happening.
I get the sense, and you get the sense, the feeling that there is some fire slowly building, the momentum, the tempo is slowly increasing with that of the New Democratic Party. What do you anticipate the response may be like? Because we go into Leeward, and clearly the New Democratic Party has been showing now with these two new candidates that, hey, we bringing in the Leeward corridor and we bringing it in strongly with these candidates. You anticipate a huge outpouring of support and raw emotions on the Leeward side for the NDP's convention?
Well, I spoke in Mombentic Bay Road Friday night. I must spend half a minute or a little bit of time when I was there, Senator
We come in there.
Senator John. And when I commented on that, I said, look, you know what happened? As things are shaping up now, you have to remember that North Leeward is, in a sense, the home for the New Democratic Party on mainland St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It was Brother Smith out of Schumacher who named the party, not Sir James, the New Democratic Party, because he figured the party was constantly renewing itself and be democratic about it. And don't forget that Sir James was on his way to Chateau to put in place a candidate when he met the legendary Carl Williams coming out. He said, only sign this book, swear to NDP. And Carl became the candidate. Not Leo became the force outpost for the New Democratic Party of mainland St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Right.
Now, I say all that to make the point. I don't think Juan Carlos will be able to hold on to North Leeward in the next elections. We know just when in the last elections, they had one of the operatives go down there with over $500,000 worth of money, US dollars, and spent like crazy. And even with that, the one vote that they came out in, which is questionable, shows that the people who have been held to ransom and against their will. Kishore can carry his own campaign. He can carry his own campaign in the sense that he's academic in tune. You will have the support of experience of Patel and company.
I was gonna ask them, what makes him so likable?
Well, that's, well, to use the popular expression, the charisma, the personality, the confidence, the experience, honesty, the integrity. He's outspoken. He's a good communicator, and in his formative years, he has got a lot of support by his regional ascendance in cricket. Rising to the top of West Indies cricket is not an easy thing, and that gives him a very high profile. But I was saying that even though it is manifest that coming out to North Leeward, into Central Leeward, all the way up to South Leeward, where nature remains the gatekeeper, and Patel says that over and over again.
Mhm.
The NDP don't win the elections on the Leeward coast. But I don't want, on the night of the elections, I don't want the results to start to come from North Leeward and up to Conroy and Central Leeward. I want to call out North Windward first because Central Chevron John is my house. So I just want when I hear North Windward results coming, you want me to say like Friday night? Chevron. Chevron. You know they call the vote seven. Chevron. I say, well, boy, she gone clear. When they call that, I either have one of the things I used to
So,
say.
so are you hinting that once we see Chevron bring home North Windward, there's a strong possibility that the NDP gone clear?
Not a possibility. It's a practicality.
Mhm.
Because it just gets better from there.
Just gets better from there.
You know.
All right.
Listen to me now. The people are leaving the Unity Labour Party in droves.
I agree.
And we're fed up for them, staying home. That's enough for us. But we still want them to come and lend us their support. Use is a big tent, it's wide open. Come on in. Come on in. Be a part of history. Be on the right side of history. And it's the time to make that change. A lot of people been saying the feeling was like 84 all over when people were prepared to have a new regime in place. And I have that sense.
All right.
And I have that sense even from the old people coming through.
I want us to touch your meeting and Chevron's office opening before I'm tempted to dive in here for a second and just because persons are looking at the possibility that can the NDP pull off all 15 again, right? The dynamics have changed somewhat. When we look at what is presently happening in the Grenadines, right? And we see the type of politics that is being played out. The deliberate slowing of rebuilding, reestablishing the southern Grenadines. Some may say it is maybe even intentional, given the time frame, because you have a lot of persons, voters, who are from the southern Grenadines, presently on mainland. How long are they going to have to remain on mainland, seeing that the clock is already ticking leading up to a general election? And how that may impact and affect voters from that particular constituency. Is it something that we should be very concerned about and pay close attention to?
Well, clearly, Colin. Not for a minute do I think that Dr. Fried as leader of the New Democratic Party, and with us as members of his supporting team, would take our eyes off the ball and who we are dealing with and run away with this notion that we don't win. Yes, we are confident about a political victory, but you haven't won until the last vote is counted.
Correct.
Now, in the same way that I said of North Leeward, that is on mainland St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or the Genesis, that's where we made the break. And then we came all the way. Yes, we made progress in Central Leeward with people like Hobby and the footprints of Dugan in East Kingston following, of course, the legendary Eddie Griffith. But the fact of the matter is that we have put down our markers and we are mindful of the fact that the Grenadines remains a part of our Rock of Gibraltar. You said 84, but remember in 84 there were only 13 constituencies. The Southern Grenadines was not yet created, but it was the stomping ground for Sir James. And we know now and can see now, bear us help us even further, why the real and truly Southern Grenadines need a separate representative because of not so much so because of the geographic size, but the nature of the geography, all those islands and the waterways and the circumstances and peculiarities. But what is consistent with the Southern Grenadines and what you will find replicated through all of them, from Becker right down, is their resilience. They have a degree of stubbornness and, without apology, a degree of principle that sometimes you don't find on mainland St. Grenadines. You don't sue them for a dollar bill or for a promise or for idle boast. You know, for them to prove what they put is in the eating. They have been a hard year for sufficient years, and they're not like foul whole wipe them out with ingratitude over what had been done for them. Remember the Grenadines? They used to be the place of punishment, hard years, you know. Don't forget the place the Bumbo Charles and United Uprising. You figure that they were the forgotten people.
Yeah.
It's Sir James who went and turned things around and changed it to what they are here today. But I want to say a lot in one because you asked me a multiple choice question. If I go back from there into North Windward, where we also made some good progress, the countryside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and for countryside, I'm also including the leeward areas as well, have a different kind of emotional appeal and display with their politics than you have in the city. So the crowds that Chevron John or Israel Bruce will get on their party meetings, you will not easily see those numbers with Daniel myself for office. But we will be solid as a rock, as I played there last Saturday when election time comes to vote. Because they kind of like, yeah, they're sitting in the home. If they're radio, well, that's enough for them. If they really make up 6 o'clock in the morning, well, you know, look for me tonight. I'll be behind you. And shows are they're there with you.
Right.
But in the country, people like to come out.
Well, I think
So,
that's a general thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a whole
a
thing.
community thing. They're always outside.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. So Chevron had a good crowd. Those who stayed at the office area,
Right.
where the meeting was going to take place. There were a little few unfortunate things, but that's for internal conversation. I'm not going to share that. But there were those who wanted to go out to her on the bridge and walk across candlelight to meet the rest of the body. And so you had that procession, which was good, and a good and decent crowd in North Winland Friday night to lend her support. And Chevron again sold herself to her people. But she's a Christian woman, and she did it in Christian style. So her openings was full of worship teams and spiritual and blessings, and it was in a particular context. And you could see that there's an embrace between her and Conroy because he's also of that formation, like yourself too. A man who believes in his Lord and Savior, and is going to do things always mindful of the opportunity that's been given to him. So when she introduced him, I don't think she introduced him just as the new kid on the block, but also it's like a Christian brother, and he sees the opportunity and so well presented himself. So I think our meeting was a tremendous success, and I think she will build from there. What the people in North Windsor have to do, and what we in the New Democratic Party do, and what the neighboring and supporting constituencies have to do, is to be mindful all the time that this election is about not majority vote numbers. That we will win comfortably. But it's about winning constituencies. And in loving her and embracing her and lifting up, as far as we can do it, we should also try to be material. We're going to have to lend her whatever we can. Money is always welcome. Vehicles for transportation is always welcome. Other electioneering campaign materials is always welcome. It may be umbrellas, it may be chairs, it may be computers, it may be laptops, it may be cell phones, it may be photocopiers. You understand? All of the material that's needed to make a campaign successful because those guys are in a position where their back is against the wall. Right. Later in the program today, I may be able to show why they're back against the wall because it's an easy case to establish now. Once the government changes, you can put your finger on page this, bullet number 2, this, that, experience the other, that there has been misbehavior in public offices of the Ralph Gonzalez government. That is documented. There has been misbehavior in government office where they have violated on more than one occasion the constitutional provision and provision of the Finance Act. I don't speak lightly. and they are always quick to the coast. Well, give me the date, Ralph, when they want me to come and show up with my evidence of my cause for your misbehavior in public. So the more that is so, it is the more they are going through shenanigans to remain in office. I don't know this for a fact because I don't go there to their meetings. I'm not invited, thank God. But I understand the lady, the professional who they had in mind to bring to replace the incumbent, seems to be not coming forward again. And she may have to run again to the same guy she ran against the last year. That means they're going to spend a hell of a lot of money. You know, as I indicated, when they bring $1, we must bring two. When they bring $2, we must have four. They come with a $5 bill, we have to have a $10 bill. They have a 50, we have a 6 month. We must show that we can match them because the most important audit that this country must have and have at all times is the general elections, where they change within and bring a different people. Get them out and bring in a different set of people to look at the books and look at the performance. So she had a very successful event, and I'm sure she'll have more. But she's there, asking. She needs and she requires a lot of help to reduce the frustration and the stress to be successful. And I said, we have to expect great things in the future years ahead. Former Chevron John in the government of St. Vincent Grenadines. She'll transform North Windward. She'll capitalize on the God given strengths that they have. And when she said it, when Dr. Friday says it, and we say it, it is North Windward is a blessing. It's the largest areas of urban lands. It has all the things that you can find in our four pillars to build the economy. It can really be the breadbasket of service and the Grenadines with agriculture. You know, historically, it's been our root territory, but they have also been in bananas. They've been in lime production. They have a rich enough fishing culture, even though some monies have gone to waste. They could be they're right up there with the super nature trail, bamboo range. You have Ovia Salt Pond. They have the natural waterfalls. They have the Chateau Park, and there's so much they can do in terms of tourism. So that's agriculture and tourism. They have always had a presence in sports and culture.
That's true.
And she herself, though she can't do so well now in the netball. It's a whole netballer. I'm sure she'll be glad that
Yes, oh, that is a veteran.
she's a veteran netballer. Thank you for
Yeah,
putting me in
you
a
can't
place.
say, oh,
Thank you
that,
for putting me in a place. You know, thank you. Veteran netballer, Chevron. So she has what is required
right.
to make her people happy. I always feel that we should have gone a long time ago. I mean, and I don't point the blame to a single party. With the peculiar requirements of the North Windward, to have had a separate economic plan, development plan for that area. Not just being a small appendage to the national budget. It could really need some very heavy lifting. But I believe Dr. Friday has the vision and the wisdom to see it through in that area. And you see how God put the thing together?
Mhm.
Because in that regard, they have what everyone feels for people. You have a Dr. Kishore Shalom coming in with a first degree in business management, like yourself, a master's degree in business, project management. You have a Conroy Huggins coming in with agriculture, education, like yourself, and agronomist, lending to the cabinet strength. Yeah, with engineer Cummins there. He said he has a green card for fancy and so forth. But you can see what's happening. She have a good team to support her. You know, so that's enough for her. Well, Lago Height.
Let's talk about that now.
Mm.
Um, this is the second meeting that you've had so far in your so-called season of reason. So two things. One, why did you decide to call it season of reason? And is that the reason why your tone in terms of presentation, depth, right? Its bite, its context, its material, its figures are seemingly so sharp.
Well, Colin, you know, this week, knock on wood, the good Lord preserve me, spare me. The third, the fifth, you know, October will be 23 years that I've entered parliamentary politics.
You're a young man.
You-
26.
You're doing the math. I mean, I mean parliamentary, eh? But that's fine. Fine, I take it off. And so I clearly have honed my parliamentary skills over that period of time. And when you come into politics, young or matured or experienced is one thing. But when you stay there and you garner that experience, it's another thing. And I, in Central Kingstown, walk and live the experience. And so when I spoke last Saturday night in Lava, season of reason because people tend to call elections a silly season. I know, as is for Daniel, as it is for Nature and others, as we get into the heat of the election, and again we keep our consistency focus. We're not dropping our guard, but it is not so much now about me winning Central Kingstown or Daniel West Kingstown or Fifth East and Nature South Leeward and so forth. It is about us lending our experience. Nature going down to Central Leeward to help Conroy and to North Leeward to help Kishore. And me going to South Windward and South Central Windward to help Bruce and John. And this because we spend a lot of time in South Windward. And as Daniel trying to take Lavon from you in East St. George, which he ain't gonna get you to, but you have a headache. You know. But we have other places to go. So the time for us to cement our place in our constitution and report and get feedback and be accountable is now. So that it's our season for reasoning with our constituents, what we have done, what they want us to do, and to walk through it with them. And I did that quickly Saturday night. I mean, you drove up past the bridge by Garden Gate, and when you reached Ralph's turn in there, you would feel that the village end there because after that, the road in pitch. The police station don't even have a signboard mark Old Mountains Police Station. Not even that they could paint over. They don't even have that pride. The play field that's adjacent to them. The four corners, full of cattle grass, the drain leaks, water goes onto the ground. They're just turning around the goal post now so they could cross ways rather than north south, they're going east west. Which means that the ball will go over the river and it never kick. They don't even cut it. And they compare the height playing field as they call it. With the Park Hill lighted playing field. Or South Rivers lighted playing field. It's cheese to chalk with regard to them. Right adjacent to the playing field is a building that's supposed to be the community center. It's, it's, it's wood lice infested. You can't even store the boxes that Booster said they brought up there from mobilization ministry. Um, the animals go in and they retire out. The upstairs is a public toilet. The scent and the stench is constantly complained of by the neighbors who talk about what they have to put up in a weekly basis. It's a question that's going to the parliament. They go a little bit overboard by the mechanic shop for Mosey baby up in there. You can't even fix those slippery drains. You know, you reach a big yard. The drain that takes the water all the way from the hill that comes down there is so high. You know, it is it's just terrible. They haven't built roads to open up the mountain lands. They haven't stuck to the program that NEP had for a constant development fund to help people with back walls, drains, and waterways. You see the transportation terror of the young people up in the area. There are no link bridges or crossings for people who can get from one side of the road to the other. If you compare that to Murray Village, let's say, where from the time you hit Morris Road, they're going to have bridge. The only one they built is when we bought, and didn't help me get some rubber, and then we bought some strong one, we cook some pillow, and we built one. So they have no regard. People still have to go across there on coconut trees and lamp posts and old pallet boards. You know, you go down some of the roads, and the BRC is exposed because you have maintained the roads that John Horn built in West Kingston and Eddie Griffith and others built. So that could be multiplied across and Vincent Grenville, where the small things that are big things with people are not there. I mean, I was up there by BB, who was sick, and Vincent Tant, who also had a stroke up in the big yard. Those places need attention. So much. You may as well go back up and see where you have to go. Women don't even have a paved step or footpath to go to a home. And they're voters, 23 years. You're just taking people for granted. Taking people for granted. And that's the story of Lago Height. So people say, who is complaining? But it's really still up. You see, because you could approach it either from the Lagoid side, or you could approach it from the Green Hill side. At the top of that mountain range, right there in the Australian school as it is now. It is where, and I know I'm getting some fights from this for nature who say you are in Vermont and those who want it in higher lowlands and other people going to raise their hands. So what about me? But up there's where we intend to put our $50 million food processing plant. And it's there because you have a short distance, you have to realign the road, you get straight down to the port in Kingston and so on and so forth. By the way, in that very meeting, I reminded them, I reminded them because last week, I seen some of the things on the
No,
program.
go ahead.
I heard the Minister of Tourism.
Mhm.
Oh, we've had 3 record years of cruise ship arrivals in the Grenadines. Completely forgetting the NDP who build the cruise ship. It's the same cruise ship that Glenn Jackson used to run, then said he road sinking when left and then he came and so on and so forth. That's the same cruise ship facility that is now.
Still the big money maker for the country.
And that's where the carboat goes to unload the cars to St. Vincent and Grenadines. It's where all the ships go in because they didn't maintain the Port Kingston, they didn't maintain the Geese Shed port. Tell you, so if NP hadn't done those things, what would have happened to us? They're still riding on the back of the Democratic Party. So you have to remind a lot of our young people. Our young people in Lagos don't even know what you mean by a banana truck. They can't conceptualize a banana truck if they're 20 years old because you never saw it.
Yeah. And as a little boy, you would remember seeing the lines upon
Landmarks,
lines.
from Geese Shed
Yeah, of banana trucks. Yeah.
They don't even know what name of scale.
Is that the reason why, given how, and we've seen it and heard it up to this morning, how we seem to be very fickle on issues. We tend to gloss over, move over the substance, the real important social and political issues in this country. To pick at the little trivialities. Is that part of the reason why it's like, look, this season for you, it has to be one where we reason with people, so persons can understand clearly these are the problems that we're facing in the country, and let us not forget what they are.
Well, you're quite right. And I think that's what my boss, some colleague Daniel, was bringing to the attention. Daniel caught them out, in the parliament of a few sessions back when they came with this hospital project. And that's how we have a way of doing some of the projects now. Then. If you want beef, you have to buy some of the pork. Something that's how the bush. If you want this, you have to buy some of that. When they came with this project for the airport, for the hospital, sorry, and they showed us why they were turned away from the World Bank, and they went to Taiwan. Yet the World Bank had the project on a particular level of examination, and they figured that the World Bank work was too tedious and too slow for them, and they just dropped it like a hot potato and went to Taiwan and got a loan for $335 million, and figured that all was well after that. But in a season of reason, we have to take that issue. The one is the violation of the tendering process. That's the first thing. You don't do that. Because if you want something by town for $20,000, $50,000, you have to go to tendering process to get that contract. What's more to $335 million? And these guys are so bright. They get a 40-year loan. And they boast for you, well, this is 40 years loan, and we don't have to pay any interest for the first 10 years. But in the 10 years in which they don't pay interest, they end up accumulating an interest of $200 million. So by the time they start paying the loan, they're not paying on $335 million. They're paying on $500 million. Now, if you go to the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the moment, and so we have to have these narratives and conversations, Some of the senators are just around age 30, 31, 32. They're young.
Right.
Most of them don't have any kids. But if they decide today, they will have they start their family. Huh? 40 years from now, they are about 70. Right? They don't walk away from this decision that they made. But their children who was born now at the start of this loan, will be 40 years old and already have their first child, 20 years old. So it is their not children,
and
it is
grandchildren
their
and
grandchildren,
great grand.
their grandchildren, great grand, who will be paying for the loan. And I hold the view, and I hope more moving sense agree with me. Any government normally gets a 5-year term. You do 10 if it you do 10 if it did well, and if it did well, you get another 5. So why does the government want to commit a country to 40 years when they're long and gone and they're responsible for it? It's something to be asked. And why does somebody want to lend the government money over 40 years?
I want you, if you can, to break down that. What would that look like in terms of, as you would say, the bread and butter issue? How would that, their grandchildren and great grandchildren, how would that look for them in terms of standard of life?
Well, it is already manifesting itself, Colin, and that's why I wouldn't do it as slowly as I've done before. And I'm glad I'm Kenton France. I miscarried it. But I repeat it. That's what I shared in the parliament. People must listen to me sometime when I speak in this. It is exactly like if you're in one of those black water tanks, Colin. Somebody came and put it in and say, I'm coming back. But the water tank inside is heated. And while in there, the water got to your ankle. You say, thank God somebody bring some water to cool on me foot. I was just starting to feel uncomfortable. And when you get up to your shin, you say, oh, nice feeling. And then to your knee, you start to feel even nice again. But you say, I hope you don't forget the company. But when that water in the tank reaches to your chest, Colin, you start saying, hey, you forget me? I feel cool and nice. It's time for come out of here. And then the water gets up to your neck. You say, no. This ain't no mistake. Somebody set out to kill me, to put a hook in my gill. Because sooner after that, the water's in the mouth and the throat, and you're drunk. So St. Vincent at the moment, drowning in debt. In that example, when Bruce was here last Wednesday, he says it's happening in other ways. The crime and the violence and the frustration, the victimization, the absence of proper health care, difficulty to get on the programs, poor relief as we call it, the fact that your NIS is frozen, they have rising cost of living, that the energy surcharge is going up, and all around you, life is getting harder and harder and harder. People still suffering from taking the vaccine. So the country is dying in any case. And that's why people have to understand the analogies that we're making. That's where we are. We're in a pressure cooker. We're into a tight space. And the negative forces around us are growing faster than the positive energy. And if we don't release that valve, we'll all die in this situation.
All right. And I think the obvious question now, persons would obviously want to ask, and we must continue to remind them in terms of the answer, is then when an NDP administration is in power, how do you start relieving that pressure for people?
Well, you start by releasing that valve. You must be able to exhale. And that's why Dr. Friday and us in the Democratic Party have tried to simplify it because people keep um, asking what we're going to do. Let's go back to our meetings and the same case that we talk for two simple answers. How come you can have a country here 25 minutes away from Grenada, where the Minister of Agriculture is saying we have to start to import fish, where we have more fish water than Grenada? How come Grenada could have $150 million fishing industry, US, when we're here trying to sell $5 and $10 million worth of fish per year? And we have more water than them. You understand? So that's why the marine economy is one place to create jobs and opportunities, and they're trying to steal an hour. It is taking the oil marine and turning it around to create jobs and opportunities is another of the ideas. But the agriculture and our people is what we have, and we have to amplify that and go for the value added possibilities that are there. I don't want to take your whole program off in those conversations today, but we have so much opportunity to be doing, and that's what we're going to focus on. And those who can make a living from sports and culture, as Fitz is doing now with sports policy and stuff of that nature, is joining him, the tag team in there, and do those kinds of work. you know. But it's important.
We can get it done.
And we have to do it. So we're going to manage the economy in a different way. And even with the hospital project, which is going to cost us $335 million, we are putting down, as we say, a state of the art hospital. Fine, good. But we're not the only ones who want the hospital, Colin. We are attracting a lot of medical colleges here. So basically, you could make the hospital to be a teaching university, a teaching hospital,
Right.
as happens in Mona, as happens in Trinidad, and as happens other places. And if we have such St. James and this, that, the other medical school come to St. Grenades, they want laboratories and they want hospital environments to teach the medical students. So there's not sufficient for us just to make a benefit from people who rental and housing and this and so on.
But we
Let
could
them,
still benefit from the kind of care that they offer.
yeah, but they could also be made as a condition of having a medical school here,
Mm.
having to take up 5-10% of the cost of a hospital. So if you have 4 or 5 of them, having 10% ownership of the hospital, which for which they get no benefit. Big benefit too. Immediately they don't have the debt of the hospital facility by public-private partnership.
Yeah.
And you have to be thinking aloud of how to do those things. You have to understand those dynamics. Because the government has no plan to relieve the valve, Remember, Colin, remember, Simmons, remember. They got a loan of $135 million from the Saudi Arabia, which remind you, bring me the factor, 335 from Taiwan and 135 from Saudi Arabia is 460 something. That is more money in 1 year borrowed by ULP than the NDP borrowed in 17 years,
Hmm.
In one single stroke of the pen, 1 year, they have borrowed more money than NDP borrowed in 17 years. And they have no plan. They have no ability to bring in money in St. Vincent other than by taxation.
All right, let me stick up in there for a second because that's an interesting analogy. Has that, I want to make a comparison there for a second because this is interesting. How much development have we seen significantly in comparison between the NDP's time with that amount of money and the ULP's time since they've been there in office and borrowing that amount of money? What sort of progress have we really significantly seen?
Well, what we have seen or what we know for a fact, and both use the expression sometimes, we have a much more poverty-rich St. Vincent. It abounds. It is true that we have been putting down infrastructure because the government feels that a lot of infrastructural investments is a way of captivating the mind of the electorate. The New Democratic Party is not opposed to port facilities. We built a lot in the Grenadines.
But are they generating revenue?
They don't generate revenue. The current port at $100 million assets generates $1 million in profit. That's the facts
Mhm.
with respect to the existing financial statements. The current port Kingston, which has assets of in excess of $100 million, generates only $1 million of profit. So don't assume that if you move from a $100 million asset to go down to bottom town, well, it's Central Kingston and West Kingston, where you're going to put 6 times that, a $600 million port, on the same economy, that you're going to make 6 times the 1 million you used to make, you're going to now make 6 million. Because even if it's 6 million, you're going to make $6 million profit on $600 million investment. That makes sense. And the port, as exists now, does not include the infrastructure, the additional cost, operational cost for it to go. You have to put in information systems, security systems, forklifts and heavy lifting equipment also. So by the time it does another $100 million to go on. And what is all that is to facilitate? It's simply to facilitate more goods coming into Central Grenadines because you haven't even developed a plan for it to be a transshipment point or whatever. So that is going to create, as Bram will point out to you, more pressures on the economy for foreign exchange to pay for it. If we were a standalone economy, where we used to print our own dollar, we will be in trouble. But we benefit only because of the fact that we are aligned with the Eastern Caribbean currency. And Dominica has citizen by investment money. St. Lucia has citizen by investment money. St. Kitts has citizens by investment money. Antigua has citizens by investment money. So they're helping to pay for the lights in the dance. But in St. Vincent, the dance can't pay for the light. Because the only way they can pay for the light in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is everywhere find a new imaginative and creative way to tax you more. To tax you more. But the New Democratic Party has to find a way, as Dr. Friday said, to relieve the tax burden for you. Remove it from 16 to 13%. Pay your CXC fees for you. Reduce your student loan funds. Create opportunities for young people to meet the marketplace. Get into light manufacturing sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Create more jobs and opportunities. Or even both likes to make the point. We have to go to national pie, the pizza, the cake, so that more people can get a slice of the cake. And those who are getting a slice get a slice of the cake. Dr. Friday even addressed the point is that people have to get higher wage income. Look at what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are trading nurses and what's the next stage? They're gone. Look what's happening in the police force. Even some of our best policemen in the criminal investigation department, major crimes unit, they're all going to be in the King's Guard, this regiment, that regiment, this navy, this warship, another warship, because they can't make a living here. They have to go out and scratch a different surface. In Canada, we have over 5,000 people who have taken a bed and make out to go and find a living. If you want to see where Vincent's live, go into the regional regional diaspora. 20,000 Vincent's live in Trinidad and Tobago. 13,000 live in Barbados. It's probably 5 to 6,000 between Antigua, BVI, and other places. BVI is Little St. Vincent. It's Little Greg's, it's Little Calder. So if we didn't have these escape valves, dog eat with supper. But by the time we come to those realizations that this government has been bad news, we are history.
Have they been gambling with the lives and the finances of the people in Vincent and Grenadines? It seems like they've been just constantly doubling down, increasing the bet and digging themselves deeper and deeper in the hole. When do you get to the point it's like, throw in your hand, I done.
Well, Colin, I have a battle with that. And I am going to circumvent your question.
No problem.
By reading a question that has just been rejected by me in the parliament. And I want to say this today to the listeners. I've been in the parliament for over 20-something years. I don't think they will say all kind of things about me. But I don't think people say that I have no education. Or that I don't have sense. Or I don't know what I'm doing. Because people been listening to me for a long, long time. As a teacher at the grammar school, as a part-time lecturer at the University of West Indies, and a practitioner at VINLEC and in the parliament. So people know who and what
I have credibility.
I have credibility and integrity. Much more than the speaker had in these subject matters. This is a question that I sent to the parliament. Or forwarded to go to the parliament. Listen to the question, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As the government gets into final stages of budgetary preparation, it is timely to remind of the significant variances between revised and approved estimates and the negative variances that have been reported. For example, in the auditory reports for the periods 2012 to 2016, the amounts exceeds $1 billion. In fact, it's $1,131,225.30. To be exact. It has already been brought to the attention of the Parliament that for the period of 2017 to 2021, the negative variance was $750 million. To be precise, $753 $413,847.18. That's how Major speaks. You know what the speaker says? I can't ask a question like this in the Parliament. Now, can you imagine?
But did she give a reason?
Imagine if she said it offends the House rules and how you can ask questions. Here is a Parliament, the Parliament, which is the democracy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You understand? This is where we have a mechanism for accountability and transparency of the people's money. Whereas a parliamentarian, I gave you authority to spend some money, and you have been consistently not spending it. In some cases, as I will go on to another question to show, also spending which I did not give you permission to do. I didn't give you permission to do it, so let me read it in one breath. This is the auditor's report. In addition, four sources of capital revenue received a total of $22 million, $277,906.87. Although the following accounts were not approved by Parliament for the financial year, and they gives you the money from the grant, from the practical money, the money from the grant from the Czech Republic, from loans, and even $11 million from the central bank, which she had no permission. And she don't feel that the honourable member for Central Kingston should come and ask the Parliament to speak to that kind of question.
Because it offends
her house rules. When she, as the Speaker, should understand that this is the place where we do the people's business. And it is fair for the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister to get up and grandstand and piss on me if they want and say, Major, don't know what they're talking about.
but at least answer the question.
But the fact of the answer the question, the fact of the matter is that the ULP administration is BSing St. Vincent and the Grenadines over and over and over with big talk, big talk, to make us feel that things happening. And things are only happening when they give us back our own money. For example, you hear the Minister of Agriculture speaking now that you will have $5 million for support for farmers and $2 million for support for fishers. But the 5 and the 2 million that you're going to give back to them is the money already took from them in the first place when we established the contingency fund. And that was established because we put an additional 1% on the taxes. They're giving back people their own money, not giving people money that they didn't work for. It's like when they give a child money for the break and they go by the school to make the morning sale and they give a dollar to come to school to buy a break, lend me back the money. That's how they live in.
And to compound it, pretty much want to dictate what you can and can't ask.
And want to dictate and to tell me. So it's either.
Well, then again, it's not tell you. That is sending a message to the people that you represent.
But the people have to
that
understand
you can't
that.
act. They can't act
Exactly.
to you.
Yes.
The elected any question.
And I'm telling this Madam Speaker, and I calling me soft spoken and asking me if I would mind having this said this way and if I could do it that way, and it's surprising. I'm not in that stupidness.
They try and make it easy on them. And
either I don't ask any question at all in the Parliament and ask them here, but I will not take the corrections that is constantly being given to me by some person who is less qualified than I am to frame questions in the Parliament. And don't get major mad. I staged protesting there already in the Parliament now. And I can stage it again. I am in the Parliament to do the people's business. Do not put up guardrails to defend the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister, and the Union Labour Party from the wrongdoings in this country, when those of us who are entrusted to represent the opposition aggressively come to the Parliament for answers. I know how to frame questions. It's not happening to me alone, it's happening to others too. This nonsense must stop. If you don't want me to the Parliament, then put me out. That's fine. I'll go somewhere else and do my work. It's not the only thing I have to do. But this is a more than legitimate question. Tell us why the money you're saying that you have, you don't have it. Because they're going to come again this year with another $200 million of bogus capital revenue. When we are seeing now from since 2006, the director of audit saying this don't happen and not gonna happen. Stop lying. Stop misleading. Stop misrepresenting. Stop being untruthful. And stop coming through the back door to spend money which does not be approved by Parliament on the pretext that, how does it? You're going to balance the books and unbalance the country? But you admit it. You just went to the United Nations and they said, at this rate, when we are debt ridden, we'll end up going to hell in a basket. That's what I said. You don't see that at St. Vincent. They said when they go on outside. But the government, if they are left there, they'll ruin this St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nothing will be left for generations on board. Look what we had in the weekend, Colin. 2 deaths in P2. 1 in Calico. 3 deaths in 4 days. You know, people don't even talk more again in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It ain't a big thing anymore.
It's like people don't flinch anymore.
Yeah. It's if you have one people say, how nobody died this weekend? How nobody died this weekend? So that's what St. Vincent reached now. Rather less. And then nobody fool you. Things ain't so nice inside the camp. Things ain't so nice inside.
Yeah.
But they better at us than keeping a secret.
Mm.
They know how to lock down something.
All right. 5 minutes away from the what our opening segment here on the New Times program today. Folks, we're gonna take the commercial break. And when we come back, we'll hear more from Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock with us here in the studio. Stay with us, we take the commercial break and we will be right
Vanity Supermarket in Kingstown, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices. At Vanity Supermarket number 2, located at Upper Middle Street, we are proud to serve you. We are second to none. Call us at 457-1616. We at Vanity Supermarket number 2 will always be here for you. Vanity Supermarket, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. If by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General, and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases, so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
What's on your back to school checklist? Fast, reliable internet? $200 on your postpaid bill? A free Samsung Galaxy smartphone? With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get the first month free, no deposit required. Plus, sign up for a postpaid bundle and get $200 on your bill and a free Samsung Galaxy smartphone. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
There are many cleaning companies, but there is only one company that cleans, and that is VinциClean. So you don't have to wait for a season. Cleanliness is enough of a reason. Just finish building your dream home and wish to move in, then ViniciClean is for you. Do you have oil markers that carry spots? New tiles just laid along to remove tile out, cement or paint? ViniciClean is for you. Shampooing of chair sets, mattress, carpet, house cleaning. ViniciClean is for you. So whatever cleaning you need and for the best prices and quality on the market, telephone 431-1360 or 571649. ViniciClean, 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 the best in service.
Get dinner and candles light. Good food for your movie night. One up and get it right. It's time for us. We've got what you're looking for. All the brands you love and look at everything at Nasty Stores. Nasty Stores is where you wanna be. We take care of you like family. We do all that because to treat you like we should. It's that good, it's that good, that good. When you shop at Nasty Stores, that good.
Multi Stores, our family serving your family.
Lewis Pharmacy. We specialize in friendly service with a personal, professional touch. Hence, we take pride in offering patient counseling on all prescription and over-the-counter products. We welcome inquiries on prescription drugs, vitamins, herbal preparation, fitness nutritional products, cough, cold, allergy, and all other healthcare products. For the convenience of our patients and surrounding community, we are situated uptown opposite the bus stop at Juicy Building. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Lewis Pharmacy.
Beryl, an early hurricane of unprecedented intensity, is fresh in our memory. The International Panel on Climate Change predicts for 2024 and beyond increased severity of weather and hurricanes due to warming. Be smart. Plan ahead. We can take steps ourselves to minimize loss and suffering from these threats. At Lanes, we have the necessary products, flashlights, water tanks, generators, water pumps, and more that you should have to provide you with safety and comfort. Whether building a new or reinforcing existing structures, Lanes can provide both product and specialty consultation advice at our Home Vision department. Protect your family and protect your home. Lanes, 784-456-1411.
Get value for your money. Shop at Richardson Motors. Shop at Richardson Motors Limited and enjoy free services in one. Hop into our convenience store for a wide array of snacks, drinks, and toiletries. Visit our mechanic shop for specialized treatment for your brakes, exhaust systems, and wheel alignment in our garage. But there's more. When you shop at Richardson Motors, get a free oil change service, clean, high-quality fuel, or shop from a wide range of automotive parts and accessories. We are conveniently located on the Artisville Main Road. Drive on up. Reliability, convenience, and variety. Richardson Motors is your number one stop. Air filters, oil filters, fuel filters, disc pads and brake shoes, clutch lifts, pressure plates, rotor plates, engine parts, fan belts, timing belts, oil seals, spark plugs, radiator hoses, water pumps, universal joints, suspension parts, KYB Japanese shocks for Toyota, Nissan, and Suzuki, tie rods, rack ends, ball joints. You can also get accessories, cleaning supplies, polishes, titanium tint, black tint, Vaseline motor oils, Toyota and Honda motor oils, transmission fluids, Michelin wiper blades, headlights, color lights, HID kits, HID bulbs and ballast, LED bulbs, and much, much more can be had at Automax Auto Parts. Automax goes the extra mile and spends the extra dollar to ensure that you get first quality Japanese auto parts. Come see the difference at our showroom opposite the basketball court in Camden Park. Call us at 458-2000 or 529-2070. Visit us on Facebook, Automax Auto Parts. Drive the extra mile to get the best first quality auto parts. Please note that we open on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
CK Graves and Company is the number one. Number one supermarket, 100% convention. Attention supermarket, we got more of what you're looking for. In multi-publication, we serve them all we want. In business now for over 50 years. And you will always say, nice shopping right here. Oh, yes, we're number one. Hey, Grace and Company, we have been concerned. Market for you and me.
I pass by a bread in if you see he play, that cockroach racing, mosquito fighting one another in your ears, and the amount of lights I see, I had to wonder if them Billy would know a take a billiard. I said, I can't play.
For the eradication of pests, Flick is your answer. Before and after construction of your domestic and commercial buildings, Flick uses environmentally safe chemicals and keep washrooms fresh with the aroma odor control and the 20-year sanitary disposal systems. Flick Pest Control today at 457-1857 or click www.flickpestcontrol.com.
Memorial Funeral Home is dedicated to meeting the needs of our customers. We go above and beyond to ensure satisfaction and convenience. And that's why we are extending our services to the diaspora, working with Caribbean Funeral Home in New York. Burial packages can now be completed in New York to cover burials in St. Vincent, and likewise, packages can be made in St. Vincent to cover burials in New York. Caribbean Funeral Home is located on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Call their office at 718-444-1818 or WhatsApp at 347-925-9557 or 347-231-5410. For more information, call our local office at 458-8888. Memorial Funeral Home. Quality, convenience, and affordability.
Randy Supermarket is perfect for all your grocery needs. We have a range of liquor, liqueur, and wines. Fresh and quality bread and our weekly specials will simply amaze you. Conveniently opened 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have competitive prices and friendly staff. Randy Supermarket, located at Lower Bay Street and Terrell Street. Call us at 456-2994. Randy Supermarket, where shopping is fun.
Welcome back to the Newtimes Program, ladies and gentlemen. I really need to play this one.
Like a new machine, like morning dew, fresh on the scene, having a party to the full extreme. I like it too. We can salute for your city. Good one, no. We done it still. We done it still. The building. Good one, no. We done it still. We done it. Just hold them and walk it. 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 Just hold them and walk it. 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 No, we no business. Oh, no, we no business. Whenever like we no business. Whenever like we no business. Free up like we no business. Free up like we no business. Oh, no, we no business. Oh, no, we no business. Recession. Governor will promote a fest. And you will see how we go party to the full extreme. I like it too. With kerosene, put on the treasury. Good one, go. We jump it still. We jump it still.
Hey, 6 minutes after 12.
Good one, go. We jump
And we're getting ready to jump inside the lunchtime vibes. And I know you're feeling the vibes. I know you're feeling the tempo. Let me say good day. Let me say good morning to the folks down the Leeward side. And when I say Leeward, I mean the whole of Leeward. Look out, we're getting ready to come for the convention. And we're calling out the entire Yellow Army for this one. What a time we're gonna have. And already we done hunted up the head enough. They ain't giving them kind of talks, but we giving them back. Make way. And I said it's a nice young people kind of thing, you know. So yeah. And let me play this one. Let me play this next one for the major. Let me play this. Hold on, let me stop this one. And let me play this one to the major because the major could understand and the major could vibes to this next one. Because that's what we're going to do here. And that's what we call in the whole of NDP to do.
Corruption from the north, south, east, and west, they come in fiction. Now, everybody is against the Newtimes Program for a good time. Meeting, tweeting, jumping, sharing one love. Some of them you don't feel around this time. Displaying their sexy party and looking so fine. Want to see them dance, want to see them shake. You see, boom, boom, roll. It's out of this world.
So what we going to do then?
I can't wait for festival time again. Just to get behind them.
I can't wait for election time again.
But that's what all this your run again. Just to get behind them. Stand up. So give me room, let me come when I come to play. I just want to get behind them. Stand up.
Hey, somebody says it's gonna be like carnival in Leeward for the convention, Major. Let me take this opportunity, let me take this time to as well to mention that the New Democratic Party's annual convention is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, you don't want to miss it. And of course, at the same time, the annual Back in Time dance is also coming up. And we want to encourage you to come on out and to be a part of that one too as well. Listen out, the commercial will be hitting the airwaves soon. But by chance, some of you already know, Too Cool Chris, the legend, everyone will be there to play for the New Democratic Party's annual Back in Time dance. Tickets are available now, $40. Get your tickets. Is going to be happening at the Democrat House, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. After the commercial break, we welcome you back to the New Times program. Again with us, acting president of the New Democratic Party, Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock is here. You know, when he like to come with his big book with all the figures because it is his season of reasoning. And we have to, of course, like he always say, we have to we have to tear the clothes off of the so-called king that we have here and bear him, show him plainly what he is and who he is and this administration and how they continue to mismanage and fool the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Major were quite passionate before the commercial break. And again, people need to understand why he's so passionate about why things and how things are being done by this ULP administration. Why?
Well, Colin, let me say something. Huh? Let me say something. I'm passionate because the people of Central Kingston sent me to the Parliament for a reason, for a purpose to represent their livelihood, represent their interests. You know, I said I've been there now since 2001. I won my seat in 2010, 2015, 2020, Colin. And if it's the will of the Lord, I'll win my seat again this 2024-25. I believe so. In which case, Colin, I will be the longest serving representative for Central Kingston. Long past Campbell, long past Boy, long past CS, previous representatives whose work I recognize and appreciate. And they expect me when I am before the Parliament to do things that are in their interest. To cement the point I want to make, because this morning I listened on a radio station again, a minister making an intervention. And radio stations have to understand that contributions are not a measure of beauty contest events. This is not Miss SVG, this is not Miss Carnival. And you don't give people a pass on likability on those factors. You go on the evidence. We in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, now I'm speaking to the diaspora and the wider listening public, have been living a lie for 20 something years of information being presented to us to give the impression that much is happening when the experience is that it is not the case. They have been fortunate in the sense that the government is not audited within the election cycle. So that by the time an election is called, the time for them to account has gone. To the credit of the audit department and the successive directors of audit, and in particular this current director of audit, they have caught up with the audit process. So that even though we're in 2024, we have the audit report for 2021. 3 years behind is not too bad, and I believe just now we'll get it 22. I'll show you something with the Ministry of Agriculture, which should be a main pillar of our economy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I shared it before you, but people didn't listen. In 2021, for the capital program, the Parliament gave the Minister of Agriculture $21 million to spend. We came and we revised it because remember those were the turbulent days of the volcano, this, that, and the other, and COVID and all them things. Okay. we gave him another $7 million. So the revised budget went up to $28 million. $28 million to get things right in Simmonston and the Grenadines. The minister actually spent $9 million. He didn't even spend the original 21 given to him. Just barely spent the additional 7 given to him. In other words, $20 million to do things, to change and turn around Simmonston just did not happen. And that's characteristic of what's happening to the government. So that when, to go back to something that I said before we took the break, for those who are listening and channel of the news and media understanding, I hope you're taking off. In the audited report for the period 2012 to 2016, over $1 billion that was voted to be spent for St. Vincent and the Grenadines was not spent. And you can easily see why that is so. Because the capital program, the other capital receipts alone represents nearly $900 million of that money. And it's a falsehood. It's a false narrative. And that is why we go back to the experience, the embarrassing experience of the Saudis giving you $46 million, and then if you bring 3, you'll get the 46. Well, Colin, that's like you walking on back street and a man saying, look, I have $50 here, Colin. I will give you it. If you put your hand in your pocket and take out a $5 bill. And you have to watch that man say, boy, look, hold on a minute, eh? And run across by one of the banks. Not to beg for it, you know. To borrow it. I say, boy, I get the $5, give me the 50 now. What do you think the man will think about you? You think that you can't spend his money? Yeah. You're not responsible. But that's how this government is.
You have to borrow $5 million just to give me 5.
That's how it is. And that's why, you know, when you look at the books, you know, our debt to Taiwan alone is $177 million. That's the hook in the gill. That's the hook in the gill. I don't want to try to get foreign policy matters into these radio programs for more reasons than one. But that's how he expects to stay in government.
But it helps for people to understand,
You have to understand
just how much of a debt we are in and why things are so hard in this country financially.
And we have no way of getting ourselves out but to leave this for our grandchildren. I'm not even talking about children now. Our grandchildren are going to ask, where was Major and company when all this strippiness was taking place? And you must be able to go to the Hansard or the records of this radio station or the archives, wherever they are, and pull it up and say, look, no. Somebody stood up.
And as a vote, if I was in your constituency, I elected you to go there and represent me, I would say, why were you silent on all of this?
Exactly.
Right? So when you come with a question now to the party on my behalf, right, and you're being told that you can't ask this question because it offends the house rules and whatever, I have all the right to be upset and to give credit to you for being the representative that I am elected you to be for me to go to the parliament and challenge this government on anything, because that is what I voted for you for.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because it's a serious problem for you. It's a serious problem.
All right. We have 18 minutes after the 12 o'clock here on the Newtimes program today. And as always, it's an interactive program. So we encourage you to call and to interact and to be a part of the conversation. You can call us live in the studio. The number is 456-5967. That's 456-5967. You can send us a message via the WhatsApp 784-498-3802. If you're in the diaspora and you want to reach out to us via the Magic Jack, you do that. The number is 718-734-5615. Just before the commercial break, one of our listeners messaged that it's the same thing that they did to NIS in terms of they borrowed money to pay back, and it's this type of bad money management that are having us in the position that we are in this country.
Well, the caller's observation is correct to the example that he states and more, because it is to make a comparison of the way the government is conducting themselves and you or I, or the man on the street. It is equivalent to the situation where your your circumstances are so grave, except that government can get away with it, that you're borrowing and you're borrowing and you're borrowing. And when the time comes to pay back, the person's outside by the door, boom, knock, 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 somebody will do it. You say, hold on. And you run inside back in the house and they call the phone, boy, see boy in trouble. They look out here to cut off me bill. And you know I ain't gonna do this. But please, lend me 100. So you over neck. But you don't want 100 to borrow from some person.
Right.
And by the time the person want 100 now, you call somebody else. Say, boy, man, that happened not to hold you on the $100 bill. And he gonna embarrass me. Lend me 150. They gave the fellow back the 100, they gave 50. I may not even spend the 50. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is now at the stage where they're taking loans to pay loans. You hear what I tell you? So the NIS example that he spoke about specifically, when they floated a bond, a long-term loan, what it should be. For the
we have a caller and the caller, just hold a second.
I'll cut it short for the caller. Yeah. They did not even put the money that they received from the bond into the consolidated fund, which is the regulations governing government finances under the Finance Act. They gave the money straight to NIS. And the director order picks it up and say, look, there is no accountability for the proceeds of this fund. It doesn't show up in the consolidated fund. And then the accountant general comes and says, that is so because the bond money went straight to NS. No, that NS is not an isolated case. They did the same thing when national properties debt matured. And when it couldn't be dealt with, they went and they floated a bond to pay off the debt for the national property. I mean, there's so many things that didn't explain stripping this. Just take that hotel out there. We don't even know how much money the NS put into the hotel. Out of diamonds. But when you think that hotel out is going to begin to make profits, NS is not interested in fixed asset securities. NS ought to be more interested in liquidity of cash. Because look how long the people have not got an increase in their NS money that's coming into them. And the reason why they can't get an increase is because the money that should give them an increase is out there in a fixed asset that is not working for them and will not work for them before another 50 years. Wouldn't work for them for 50 years.
All right, let's take this call.
Take the call.
Caller, hello, welcome to the program. You still with us?
Yes, good afternoon.
Welcome.
So I'm going in the head of the comrade. He might be trying to organize a juicy steak for comrade Shallow to cross over. And when I say juicy steak, I'm talking about the kind of steak that he offered Vincent Beach, that he gave to Vincent Beach. Not the steak that he gave to Buns Bonady or the late Bradham Shallow to come over. The ones that Vincent Beach had, like the phantom position of $100,000 phantom position of National Security Advisor and the various boards that he was at, the players and the gun board, he was a Naga report board, Petro Carry board, and other boards. Juicy steak like that in order to get Charlotte to come over. It's not a possibility, knowing the comrade.
You asking me that? I think
Yes.
I think Shallow has financial independence and integrity,
Yeah.
not to be enticed with that kind of conduct. I generally don't speak about people like Bones and so forth because he's my friend, and remember by the way I came to Parliament to replace Bones, you know.
Yeah.
And I came when they said
right?
this,
So,
this
I know,
yes,
right?
and they said that Bones is the party, and they said that Bones is the party. A gaping hole. Remember that expression? Remember that expression? That's what was said. It will leave a gaping hole in the New Democratic Party. Well, people have to decide whether my coming in Bones' space is a gaping hole. But I gave you this long answer because for you to find out the money that was paid for the work that Bones did, you would not find it by a line item in the budget that could be followed. But people who knew and who know could carry some point. You see that figure there? That money is the man's money for doing X, Y, and Z. I don't think Shallow will allow himself, Kishore, to live in those
Now,
shadows. He will not.
Bonnie,
Let's not
Yeah.
discuss Bonds, please. I don't want to discuss him. I mean, make a point, but you won't get a response from me because I just
I won't call it,
clarified it. Make a point still.
So your buddy James Roberts was asking him. He told James Roberts the reason why he leave the original Labour Party and Mr. Gates came out to the NDP. Give him a story about that.
Well,
So I called in and asked him, now, give us a story of why you leave the NDP and go over to the UFP. You know, he didn't answer. He just continued what he was talking about and didn't answer. He didn't give an answer. He just continued.
yeah.
All right.
Like if he didn't hear what I say, you know?
But it's unfortunate because Bonds was and probably is still a great talent. He served the region. He served St. Vincent in industrial relations, and I have had better times with him, and I prefer to remember him in the better times.
All right.
I'm moving off more for Bonds. I just want to say something quick before about in
Sure.
1984 when Milton Cato took up his position as leader of the opposition, the crowd outside booed him, and shortly after that he resigned, stepped down and resigned from politics. I see the same thing happening to the comrade. In the next election, if he's the leader of the opposition, he will just retire from politics. I can't see him seeing himself as leader of the opposition.
I agree with you. I don't think he was there. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. 26 minutes after 12. Like I said, the phone lines are open. Feel free to call and jump in here with Honorable Sinclair Leacock. We're talking about just how badly things are in this country as it relates to the ULP administration and their money management. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another call. Let's see who we have. Caller, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for getting into your program.
Yes, go ahead. Well, you're live with us.
Yeah. Right. Somebody just called and talk about Cato. When Cato went into Parliament one time, and when he was leaving Parliament, he had two briefcases in his two hands. And we used to be very close. So I say, how we do that trip? I didn't want nobody to come and shake my hand because that was it. And only one thing he went there. But if there is an election and this other party lose, you won't have nobody from as leader who would be going inside there. Nobody would be going there.
I happen to recognize and know the voice of the caller, and I know your history in motion. And I wouldn't challenge you, but thank you for your observation. I don't think when the ULP lose office that the current leader will return to the parliament to face Dr. Friday. We don't speak to, by the way. No, and he ain't gonna speak to him then. I don't think so.
Basically, you're looking at that would be end of that party. I am monarch of all I saw here, my rights. There is none to dispute.
Yep.
And if the monarchy is not there, the party would not be there.
You'll get some new configuration.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And that configuration will go right back to the basic division. The old genuine labor and the much more newer MNU Gonzalez components. It may not even be MNU, just with the Gonzalez component.
Basically, this is what it leads to really, because I personally was a strong supporter of Labour Party.
Yes.
Because there was a day called Labour Day, which that name came because I used this to go in Argyle and have a black bouquet to them in Argyle.
Yeah.
And they call that the Labour Day, and it's really Labour Day from that time.
Yeah, but the older ones of us, we are age group, would understand what Labour Day meant in the times of Joshua and Labour, and what demonstration, protests, and trade unions around the town meant for that day. Now, it's a disgrace.
Well, basically,
but not only is it a disgrace, it has to be one of Ralph's greatest embarrassment as a person who represents himself as being a champion of the working class of Labour. That he's probably the political party and political leader who has been taken to the courts most by the labor movement, public service union, the teachers union, not once, not twice. The very teachers union that were tear gassed by
Well,
labor.
yeah, well, you look at it, you understand it, and you kind of know it.
Yes.
Because even right now, the bravery that people had to come up against K to them, they are very much scared
That's
to
correct.
even come forward to do anything.
Well, I think that's why what you're saying is more important to the fact that people like Kishore Shallow and Conroy Huggins and Louis Mitchell and Kashika Cupid and Lavon King and Lavon Phillips are coming forward and offering themselves against what could come against them. They're saying enough no more.
Right. Well, basically, you would find, you look at it and look at the amount of people who are with that context when they block the road. Them one of the roads blocked so tight until it come like a virgin.
Yep. But he was lucky with the roadblock revolution because I speak on authority with those things because I am the only person from the New Democratic Party, other than Sir James, who was in Grenada for the Grand Beach Accord. Yes, Israel Bruce was there at the head of the National Youth Council, which exists no more, and that's the closest I think St. Vincent came to civil war. But the people who were there, including the birds from Antigua and Pande from Trinidad and Tobago, told him what he was doing was nonsense and that he couldn't try that in their Antigua.
Well,
So nobody would ever know why in the end, Sir James, but he said that he didn't want bloodshed and so on and so forth, gave it up. But really, the table had turned up on him. The Kenny Anthony's and and who the other guy did, and the guy from St. Kitts, the doctor. What's the guy that held the government in St. Kitts for all them years before he was thing, you know? They're the ones who was in court with Ralph and his foolishness. But he will go, you know.
Well,
He will go.
there is a time for everything. Under
Time for everything. We have our end game, and as I've been saying increasingly,
well, basically, you
I
would have
pray God I will live long enough to say, free at last. Free at last.
Castro went into power.
Thank God.
Through the Americans.
Yes.
Everyone to help Castro to overthrow Batista.
Well,
When Castro got there, he moved everybody who was close to him.
Long from now, I don't know if I'll be wrong, we will realize that what happened in St. Vincent for the last 23 years was nothing but an experience to make St. Vincent a little cube of the Eastern Caribbean.
Yeah, but
it failed.
You know, in relation to that, how much it destroyed this country. Let me tell you something, you know, we have lost one generation that will not be able to come back, you know.
Absolutely.
We are totally lost. And you have to ask yourself, if and when NDP win, what kind of structure have to put in place? Because let me just show you something. When you see you have children who is not going on to higher education because you have to go to 11, 12 years old, you go to secondary school. You are not designed to go there. When you go and spend one term, you start to teach the system. Not for me. You come back out, you're on the street.
Yeah.
And when you get on the street, you have others who will be getting on the street with you. And there is where the problem is. Because when you take a young man who has never been to prison and send him to prison at a young age, he is going to meet other seasoned criminal inside there and they become friends. Whensoever that one come out, you must notice all the time that the seasoned criminal, when they come out, they're partners outside here.
But the thing about it, and you know this, there will always be crime and violence. There will always be criminals. There will always be prison community. But it's the configuration that has changed. When I was a youngster, a young person, it was a very rare thing to hear so-and-so has gone to prison, but he used to attend this secondary, that secondary, or the other secondary school. Today, it is fairly commonplace to find that the prison population is between 20 and 35, 40, which is the education revolution. And you'll be surprised to see the amount of criminal elements and gang members who are people who have come to the portals of secondary schools.
Well, basically, that's exactly what I am trying to tell you right now.
Yes, I
Because
accept your point.
you look at skills. You do not have skillful people much in St. Vincent. When I went to Georgetown School, there was a class called Class 3, and that was the junior class, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. They were junior, but Class 3 has Class 3 A, B, and C. When you find yourself in Class 3 C as a young boy, you have to go to the woodwork section to try to learn a trade. The girls went to the soup kitchen to learn to do something in relation to cook. They are the ones who became better people in the lifetime because those guys who as young men went there as at the woodwork section, they became the builders. You look at it
But
carefully.
that's how places like Barbados got a lot of intention population too. A lot of them wanted to do stonework and masonry work and so forth, tradesmen, Trinidad and those places, Antigua.
I use this to operate a truck garage in St. Vincent. When the mothers finished school clothes around December that time, it was the end of the school year. January, when I see the mothers putting from Mr. Malcolm, see if you could please teach him something for me, please. They come to learn a trade. A couple of them managed to get through, but they wouldn't stick around in St. Vincent to find themselves going overseas.
Correct.
To do things.
Correct.
And straight out, when you look at it, I am knowledgeable and I have experience in these things. You do not have young people who are interested in getting a skill. You do not have that. That is not around.
You're correct.
And that is very frightening. Yes, where half of the problem is.
Yep.
Because when you have time on your hand and you can't do nothing with your time more than to make trouble. Trouble will always be here.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I'm in the politics now as an elder statesman, and I pray God that I have the opportunity to make a contribution to the team that's there. But this country has a fundamental problem of production because we can talk until, but we just simply have to get back to the stage in which we have meaningful industry and in particular meaningful agriculture of some water consequence because
But
people don't even understand how much the financial architecture and support systems of this country was linked between agriculture and the banks and people's growth and the creation of a middle class. The existence of the Arrow pool meant you could get your money before the arrow came out of the ground.
and
You understand?
somebody who's
Same thing with bananas. You could get your money before you harvest. And there's a weekly, monthly, or quarterly constant cash flow in the country that is keeping many of the banks open and running and turning around. The multiplier effect.
Chief, let me tell you something. People could have gone to the bank, borrow money on the house, take out a loan to go and buy land. It is not possible for them to do that anymore. It cannot work.
Was
They're
part
going
of
to
was
lose
part
it
of
all.
the ULP strategy was to move St. Vincent away from agriculture and more according to them white collar jobs. Has that
But
worked for the country?
you hold a second. You are an independent person and you could raise your own finances. You could tell anybody anything you feel like telling them and you could insult them. But whereas you have people who are insulted too much time, so they will get rid of this thing here because this thing here is causing people to cuss us. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. So straight out. As much as they're talking about what they're talking about agriculture, I grew up in that era where my grandfather, who only went to class, he had managed to own 6 estates in St. Vincent. And I am the only person who ever lived and managed 3 estates at any one time. Nobody else in the island has ever done that. Because I have conscientious people who was working, we had a very good connection, extremely good connection. You wouldn't find that these days. You will not find that these days.
All right.
I literally wash my hand from planting things right now because it makes no sense as I'm concerned. Because if you can't sleep where you plant your things, when you come to harvest, you're not going to get it to
I'll
harvest.
get you something.
Yeah, you're not going to get it to harvest.
All right,
That is
buddy.
where we reach to.
Thanks
All
a
right.
million for your rich story. Keep lending your support. We need a coalition. We need people like you.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you. All right. We're coming up to the commercial break, the lunchtime commercial break.
Experience there.
Yeah, we're gonna take a few more calls if we can, and then we'll get ready to jump into the commercial break. Let's see. We have a caller coming in. Let's take this caller. Let's see who we have. Caller, hello. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Colin. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I am fine. Thank you, man. Welcome.
You have a man in the studio we call Major.
Still present, please.
Good afternoon, Major.
Good afternoon, Igel, Chairman of Central Kingston, Chairman of Green Hill.
That is why the people of Central Kingston are so proud to have you as the representative. We know the time will come when we wouldn't have you, but it's not the time that we are looking forward for, because you have been doing us proud over the years, and today was no exception. And I'm certain that our president is very pleased and happy to have you acting on his behalf when he is out of state or he is otherwise engaged. You have done an excellent job this morning, as usual, and I just encourage you to continue.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the thoughts, Igel, because
I
apart
wouldn't
from
lose it.
politics and otherwise, you do your little hustling. So this morning I bought a hand of bananas for $12 because you say it's $1 for a banana, and until they come in. That's what he says. I gladly paid the $1. When I reached home, I fell in my yard near Lenny. He said, yes, it's $1 by Eagle too.
And the thing is that I can't get none.
And you can't get them.
So I
But you
can't
can
get
imagine
them.
that? $1 for a banana. And it just
know.
long like me index finger. But thank
So
God
I-
for banana.
I tell you,
$10 for a
bro,
bag of lime. And
that's
the list,
how
and the
things
list can
been
go on.
become.
Yes. You can't,
That's how things.
you can't enlarge a sucker orange. Sorry to try off it out, Igel, but
No,
go ahead,
man.
go ahead.
I still there, but what you're saying is just another example of how St. Vincent has become.
Mhm.
You understand? Because we didn't pay much attention to agriculture. So as soon as we have a little problem, everything is gone. And it will take a change of government to improve the situation.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's not a beauty contest. And don't fall in love with people by face and expression and by figure and whatever it is, you know. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Definitely.
You have to judge me by the deliverables. And a lot of it is grandstanding, you know.
True, you know.
I mean, I listen to the minister. Well, we have $2 million. $2 million to get the fishers. And the engine is 25,000, which means we can buy 40 engines or something like that. But that's because he get $2 million from the contingency fund. And the contingency fund means that for a couple of years you're paying 1% extra on your VAT. And you just get it back to burial. But on their own,
They couldn't do anything.
they can't do anything. They can't do anything.
We've been hearing this thing bantered about food security, food security, food security. How serious have they been taking this issue of food security, and does it show in terms of their policy plans and positions?
You asking me, or Igel?
Well,
Yeah.
I know either of you could take this on.
If you look around for the past 23 years, there has been nothing that the Unity Labour Party has done that was to guarantee food security in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As a matter of fact, to the contrary, most things that they have done is what has led to the problem we have now, that we are not food secure. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is an agricultural country. And we have some of the best soil anyway in the Western Hemisphere. And we proved that years and years and years in operation. You plant a nail, as Patel used to say, you get a kuba. Because the soil is so rich, because we are volcanic, and the things will grow naturally and they will grow properly with care. But the Unity Labour Party, from the inception, they started with bananas. When they took over the banana industry and put it in the hands of somebody who didn't know the difference between a plantain sucker and a banana sucker, put them to be in charge. And they started right there to decimate our agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because when banana was thriving, all the other crops were doing well as well, because it was not only bananas people planting, but while they planted bananas, the Edos were doing well, the Tanyas, the sweet potatoes. When you talk about vegetables and you see the type of carrots and so on that St. Vincent had and used to ship to the region, I mean, all of these things went hand in hand. So with banana, all of the other produce, and that is why we could have earned $250 million a year from agriculture, not from banana, from agriculture, because agriculture was king in SVG. And we still have the same soil that we can make agriculture again king in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with some the other pillars of the economy, which will definitely make the economy a broader one. And we'll be able to employ much people. Yes, Major.
In keeping with what you're saying, I'm not changing the point. I think it has to be one of the most embarrassing admissions that any minister could make. When the Minister of Agriculture declared, not proudly, but factually, that St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2024 does not have a single commodity for which we can export a 20-foot container on a weekly basis. That is to say, if this week we manage to send out a 20-foot container of breadfruit, we may not be able to do it next week. If we send out a 20-foot of dasheen, the following week we may not be able to do it. Tanya, Eddie, ginger, coconut, whatever it is, dunks, plum, damsel, whatever it is. And that has to be an indictment, because this has always been an agricultural nation. The NIS property is on what used to be the Arut Association property, building. The physical planning authority is on the property that used to be the Banana Association.
True.
The Gee Shed was as a consequence of us having bananas. The port in Kingston was built because we had commodities to export. Coconut, this, that, on the geese boat, the Saguenay, the whatever the lines that we had. People, you know what you don't even see in St. Vincent? Because I grew up from upstreet. We used to have a category of people called Stevidos.
Yeah.
Some people used to call them Skibidos. These are the saga boys in town, in the pants and the wash rag and out the back pocket. Because these guys were full of money. They had all the women, they had all the girls. They built homes, they buy cars, they dominated football, matinee, cinema. They lived their lives because there was port activity as a consequence of this country shipping things abroad or bringing things in to carry things out.
I saw something interesting just recently. I saw the Prime Minister of Grenada on a social media post holding up black pepper and saying, look, since the passage of Hurricane Beryl and its somewhat devastation to our agricultural sector, this is now something that we are looking at, and we're encouraging all farmers to start looking now at growing black pepper as now an alternative crop based on those that we have been struggling with to revive since the passage of Hurricane Beryl. And because of its resilience, I'm encouraging all farmers and persons in the country to start growing black pepper as an alternative crop for us to start exporting now after Hurricane Beryl.
Well, Colin, I have news for you. In the late 1980s, when I worked with a development small business financial association, I actually spent a lot of time with farmers from Rose Hall who were big, and I know if the Lambkins will listen to me, they can verify this, in the growing. Gideon Lewis will tell you that. And growing and processing of black pepper right there in Rose Hall. To the extent that that was so, I also was involved because I was just out in my bright management consulting days in establishing what we call Condoleezza special stands in the marketing corporation for displaying black pepper and other locally processed foods out of Rose Hall and other communities with brand names. I don't want to call the name of the particular guy now because I believe he's deceased. But that's where we were making progress of small business and agro processing. We don't have that. We don't have that.
But the reason why I raised that, because you mentioned we don't have.
Remember, I got there with us.
Yeah, we don't have a chief. We don't have a chief commodity, a prime commodity. Say, well, just like how we could know Grenada is known for nutmeg. What is our chief crop?
Ignorance.
I'm sorry for laughing, but I mean, wow.
No,
You
but
know,
I laugh.
but the fact that Grenada could identify, look, we our nutmeg production may have taken a hit from Hurricane Beryl. So we need to find an alternative crop in the meantime. So Grenada, this is where we're going. We're going with black pepper because they have an alternative plan. What is our alternative plan?
This morning, the news, the two guys in Peterborough Healthcare and the one in Calcutta make the news before any agricultural produce, any marine activity, any tourism activity. The things that dominate the news are the negative news. We get the news for the wrong post.
And they say we're trying to make the country look bad.
And
Go ahead, I go.
we have so much of that in St. Vincent. So much of the negative news has to dominate because there's nothing positive really, and it is really time for change.
That's
As
why
you
Dr.
say-
Friday speaks about the pillars of the economy.
Yeah.
Around these things, we will develop and build a new St. Vincent. And I'm grateful in Oigal that these younger, qualified, energetic, hands-on, know-how people are gravitating to Dr. Friday's New Democratic Party to lend assistance to shaping a new St. Vincent, to improve the lot and life of Vincentians, and to rebuild a middle class, and to give our young people hope. Give our young people hope, because the only alternative now is for everybody to emigrate, get out of St. Vincent, and get out fast and furious.
I want to thank you for your call. We have another call coming in. Anything else you want to leave with us before you go?
We have meeting tonight?
No, tomorrow for the delegates. Remember, just write on your phone.
Okay, well, send it for me again.
Yeah. So
call on the radio station on the
I want
program.
to say that he just said it was an indictment of the agricultural minister. But I'm saying that we have to import fish. I'm saying it should have been the cause for the resignation of the Minister of Agriculture. But since he is so brazen to say that and not resign, then the people who hired him must now fire him because he has failed on the job. And not one time, not two times, not three times. He has been a failure, and St. Vincent needs more and better than a failure. So they need to remove him and elect the NDP candidate for that area as their representative so that he can provide better representation. And if he becomes the Minister of Agriculture, there's competing areas because of other persons with the same kind of knowledge and even more. But if he becomes, I'm certain he will do a far better job. But regardless to who is the agricultural minister, under the NDP, agriculture, farmers will see a better day going forward. So Thank you all for the program today. You have been doing a wonderful work. Major, continue to keep up the work. We are with you 100%.
Thank you too. And
And
thanks
we're
for
not letting you
the
down
work
in
you all do.
Central Kingdom.
Thank
All
Brother
you.
right.
Colin,
Thank
Thank
you,
you
all
very
Agno.
the
much.
best.
All right, you
God
too.
bless.
All right. We have another caller. Caller, welcome. Hello.
Morning, I am neither young nor hands-on or handsome.
But you leave us to decide that now. Welcome, Dougie. Leave us to decide that now. We have pictures of you at ECA. Let me leave that story alone because you may close the gate.
But I ain't close to the wall right now.
You can't close the wall. I I have a joke for you. I think they did the project now by me was finishing, but I mean go move some plywood on the front by the post there. It make the previous plywood them look good. If you see wood lights.
Anyway, Major a little bit distorted in the phone. I don't know if his
Okay.
mic up too high. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe it's just your end because everything been going perfectly fine until you call.
All right.
Yeah, well, as usual, I am what it is.
Yeah.
Two things, Major. First thing, well, more than two things, but the first thing I just would like to say, today Dennis Joshua was buried, so
Your good
I would
friend,
like,
yeah. And Bobby Fraser's
so,
wife.
okay, all right. So
I couldn't make
I just
those
wanted
shows
to
there.
send out my
Condolences.
condolences there. Now, you speak about the issue. I was listening a bit. I'm also, secondly, I'm dealing with other my own little issues here, health-wise and otherwise. The other thing is that you've been dealing with the issue of where we are in the economy and the ability for our economy to pay for the debt, the crushing debt that the Prime Minister pronounced. He pronounced in the United Nations that we have crushing debt.
Could you spend
Who
a
created
little
this
while with
crushing debt?
Dougie for us, please? Because I don't think our people are with. Just spend a minute on it for us.
Sorry, I didn't catch
I was,
you.
I was saying I want you to spend a little time on it because I'm glad that somebody's amplifying this, that he spoke to this issue abroad.
Yeah, yes, okay. So in the United Nations, he proclaimed, it was a proclamation in a speech, that we are suffering from crushing debt. And I want people to understand the emphasis on crushing. He said we had a crushing debt. And he is not saying to anyone, because he said he does not take blame nor responsibility of who created this crushing debt. Because historically, in 1984, when the Labour Party was thrown out of office, they left a debt of $387 million. I want people to see the perspective of this. $387 million. They left a debt of $85 million in electricity. They left a debt of $35 million in the water authority. This, you speaking about since 1984. And they left only 960 miles of paved roads in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When the NDP left 17 years and a half years after that, the debt only was $587 million.
Stop the
They
doggy.
had,
Stop. Because I pointed out all today, I don't know if you were on the program when I spoke to Colin, that in 1 year, between the $335 million for the hospital and the 135 from the Saudi Arabian fund, which is roughly $470 million. 1 year, the ULP has borrowed what NDP took 17 years to borrow.
exactly. So the point I'm trying to put to people's head is that when you look at where St. Vincent was in infrastructural development in 1984, with a debt of $380 million, again 17 years after, where a debt of $300 million was paid off, an addition of 2,630 miles of paved road was added in St. Vincent, plus all the other debts were paid off. There was a surplus in the bank, and we had generating every year in two pillars of the economy, agriculture and tourism, over $550 million, just in two pillars of the economy. We have officially officially declared debt, crushing debt of 2.6 billion, but we know it's more like $5 to $6 billion because I went through that over and over. How you could calculate what the actual debt is, and I gave reference already towards Barbados when Mayor Martley was campaigning. The government then said it was 7.5 billion. When she got in, it was 15 billion, and I believe we would see a double of our debt when NDP goes into office, and people then come realize he did. That's why Ralph described it as a crushing debt. He's declared that he was leaving a hook in the NDP's gill. That's what he declared.
What did
He
he say
said,
about the basket?
sorry?
He said something will go to something in a basket.
Yes, and he said we're going to hell in a basket, in a cookie basket,
Yeah,
a wicker basket, wicker basket. I mean, a wicker basket, that's where we can't hold nothing.
that's
And
what he
so
said, you know.
basically, Ralph is saying to the world, this nation, but the nation not listening, that he is leaving us holding a basket with holes in it that we cannot hold any liquid, no liquidity. Liquidity comes from the word liquid, something that is fluid, that is have viscosity. It can flow and create and find its own level. What he is saying to us is that civilization will never be able to find its own level when I'm finished with it, because I have taken out anything close to the liquidity that was there before. And so he goes for mega projects. And these mega projects are not sustainable by themselves unless you have debt forgiveness. So he's out there saying this is a grave situation that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is in. And that's why he had difficulty with the World Bank. But he is the architect of creating an expensive governmental expenditure and operation. Daniel refers always to the truncated and the fragmentation of the healthcare system that is becoming too costly. We never started the national health insurance, but yet we are putting more and more burdens on the meager salaries that the institutions work for and the meager profits that businesses can afford and ill afford to spend any more expenses. And so we are in a mess because he has created a crushing debt. You know what's to be crushed? When Patsy Jack went down the Jack's wall that day, she didn't know that the wall is going to come down and crush her. But that was the end of her. And basically, what he is declaring to St. Vincent and Grenadines, his wall will, when he leaves office, when he demits office, when the ULP demits office, that his wall will come down and crush us because they have already one put a hook in your gill where you cannot maneuver, because when a hook is in a fish gill and you start reeling it in, it has to be obedient to the stress and the strain of something in your gill. And we are in a mess. And I don't know, if we are going to borrow all these amount of monies and we don't have the capacity for earning in balance with our expenditure, we are ending up more and more in debt. Therefore, the crushing debt takes effect. And the only out of that you could find is debt forgiveness. That is what the game he's been playing all along. I just wanted to add that so that people could understand the gravity of our situation and why we need to change government and we need a redirection in the way governance is done, but not in the way it has been done for the last 20 something years. And I maintain my position. I will forever maintain my position. Since 2010, we never won an election. All the other elections were taken out of the hands of the people and from the opposition because they can ill afford to be out of office so that we have forensic accounting and investigation into all that they have done. And you speak about misbehavior in public office, that that is something that will surface, and they are afraid, mortally afraid of what that could reveal.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let me take advantage of you by sharing Vincent. And you like to describe people of having itchy ears, but I'm going to read quote exactly what he said at the United Nations, Colin. Unless there are drastic alterations in the patterns of consumption, production, life, and living in developed and large emerging countries, all planet is inexorably on the path to a proverbial hell in the handbasket. Gonzalez said that in the process, countries of an island or stable civilization are likely to be inundated, that is, drowned by raging seas and enveloped in searing heat. That's Gonzalez.
And he has generated the foundation for our part of that segment in St. Vincent. He, in the last 20 something years, has developed that scenario right here and now. And he now pronouncing it outside there. I ain't gonna stay on the line. I just wanted to give you
Thanks again, Dougie.
intro.
All right, thank you, Doug.
All right, okay.
And I think on that note, yeah, we'll take a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll come back with more here on the New Times program. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General, and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases, so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Get dinner and candles for light. One for your movie night. One stop and get it right. It's not much. We got what you're looking for. All the brands you love and you'll get everything in a store. Nasty Stores is where you wanna be. We take care of you like family. We do all that we could to treat you like we should. It's that good, it's that good. That good. When you shop at Nasty Stores. That good.
Massy Stores. Our family serving your family.
So let's pay. An easy way to pay. So let's pay. So let's pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So let's pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. So let's pay. So let's pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Lewis Pharmacy. We specialize in friendly service with a personal, professional touch. Hence, we take pride in offering patient counseling on all prescription and over-the-counter products. We welcome inquiries on prescription drugs, vitamins, herbal preparation, fitness nutritional products, cough, cold, allergy, and all other healthcare products. For the convenience of our patients and surrounding community, we are situated uptown opposite the bus stop at Duty Building. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Lewis Pharmacy.
Randy Supermarket is perfect for all your grocery needs. We have a range of liquor, liqueur, and wines. Fresh and quality bread and our weekly specials will simply amaze you. Conveniently opened 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have competitive prices and friendly staff. Randy Supermarket, located at Lobby Street and Terrell Street. Call us at 456-2994. Randy Supermarket, where shopping is fun.
There are many cleaning companies, but there is only one company that cleans, and that is Vinci Clean. So you don't have to wait for a season. Cleanliness is enough of a reason. Just finish building your dream home and wish to move in, then Vinci Clean is for you. Do you have all markwares and cars fast? New tiles just laid on wall to remove tile clouds, cement, or paint? Vinci Clean is for you. Shampooing of chair sets, mattress, carpet, house cleaning. Vinci Clean is for you. So whatever cleaning you need and for the best prices and quality on the market, telephone 431-1360, 457-1649. Vinci Clean, Vinci Clean, Vinci Clean, the best in service.
Introducing Kitty Care Plus Active Syrup and Mint Globin Liquid from Maya Organics Purity Limited. Kitty Care Plus is an optimum nutrient for growing children. It promotes physical growth and enhances intellectual performance. Vico Actin Syrup has a synergistic combination of cyproheptadine and B vitamins that help to improve appetite and body weight. And Mint Globin Liquid helps to optimize growth and build immunity. Get yours today. Kitty Care Plus, Vico Actin Syrup, and Mint Globin Liquid. Available at leading supermarkets and pharmacies. Agent Bowman's Pharmacy. Call 456-2235.
Get value for your money. Shop at Richardson Motors. Shop at Richardson Motors Limited and enjoy 3 services in one. Hop into our convenience store for a wide array of snacks, drinks, and toiletries. Visit our mechanic shop for specialized treatment for your brakes, exhaust system, and wheel alignment and our garage. But there's more. When you shop at Richardson Motors, get a free oil care service, clean, high-quality fuel, or shop from a wide range of automotive parts and accessories. We are conveniently located along the Artisville Main Road. Right on up. Reliability, convenience, and variety. Richardson Motors is your number one stop.
CK Graves and Company is the number one. One supermarket, 100% intention. Intention supermarket, you got more what you're looking for. With multiple locations, serve you more and more. In business now for over 50 years, and you will always take my shopping right here. Oh, yes, my number one. Big Graves and Company, we are intention. Market for you and me.
Since 2012, we have provided reliable, professional dialysis services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are now proud to offer you new solutions for your health problems. Each new solution is being delivered to you with the same high degree of care and professionalism. We also use the best technology in the delivery of our services. So, does your doctor need a precise view of what's happening inside your body? Let us perform an ultrasound for you. Ladies, if it's your breasts, then choose our mammography service. For all issues related to men and women's health at any stage of your life, our team can perform the necessary investigations to put your mind at ease and recommend solutions for your problems. If it's to see within your chest or check for broken bones and fractures, then use our state-of-the-art U-Arm X-ray service. For you aging men and women, we You can now check your bone density, which will reduce any complications that may arise with overall bone health, osteoporosis, or arthritis. Health Solutions will provide answers and results in a timely, accurate manner in the most comfortable environment, while you are taken care of by well-trained and experienced staff. Please call us today at 451-2836 or 434-3170, or visit us online at healthsolutionsSEG.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Health Solutions, where we are providing solutions in SEG with care.
We would like to say that Captain Bligh XO aged rum is the best rum in the world. And now we can. Voted the world's best rum at the World Rum Awards 2014, Captain Bligh XO aged rum. World class in a glass.
Quantity Supermarket in Kingstown, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices. At Quantity Supermarket number 2, located at Upper Middle Street, we are proud to serve you. We are second to none. Call us at 457-1616. We at Quantity Supermarket number 2 will always be here for you. Quantity Supermarket, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can forget our country's way. One use it well before it's too late. If it is not who you're voting, ready or not out. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now, that it come about. Just as how you put them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they can see, say your finger and show them no mercy. Put them out with total call and honor the state. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power to be ready. Let's put our country together again. If I 30 years, you vote in the name, and there's only tears as soon as they win. They give you big words and enslave your souls, promising you roads and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy goes round, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws, that them alone can count. When you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the building, I south, east, west, north, and south, the same way you put them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally policy is a policy. Bureaucracy, a catastrophe. If they cannot vote and you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go. If it is for application, the statement that they spout when you're voting. If it is a frustration, does make you want to shout when you're voting. Before they misuse out, people sell out and mix out. If it you put them in, register and all of them, take your finger and them on the system. Put them out in Scarborough and in Bonus Bay. Let's put our country together again. Put them out in Camudo and in Largo Bay. Let's put our country together again. People must come first, citizens by right. None of we are worse, yellow, black or white. Food, shelter and clothes, free movement and speech. A garden that grows, and one love for each. If it is that injustice is what they always show when you're voting. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know when you're voting. If it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come, all bandits must go. Register and
22 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And we inside the home stretch here on the New Times program. We welcome you back. We're here with acting president of the New Democratic Party, Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock. Major, as we in the home stretch, of course, we'll continue to take your calls. Feel free to call us and jump in here at any time. But before we go, and before we start wrapping up on the program, again, we have to drive home the activities for the New Democratic Party convention is in the air.
This Sunday.
This Sunday. Well, it's 2 days. It's
And the following Sunday.
closed session Sunday, and then the big
Open doors
rally on.
in Peterborough the following Sunday.
How are you looking forward to this? I mean, obviously for all the NDP persons who are listening and what's not in anticipation, you know, obviously they want some perspective. But we have a call. Let's take the call quickly. All right. Caller, please feel free to call back. What are your anticipations? What are you looking for?
Well, this Sunday, as I say, Colin, is a business session.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the.
All right, let's take the call quickly. Caller, hello.
Hello, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Now it seems to me, before I start, the little shallow is creating a deep pool in Northly, what it is.
It ain't shallow at all.
And those of us who have been demonstrating our capacity to swim strongly, they will have to be thrown a lifeline.
How onion from burning flames and sing a song, who can't swim or go float.
Well, I need rope to all of it. The historians, my friend, will have to document that it was mismanagement by the ULP under the leadership of Brad Gonzalez that has caused us to lose our banana industry, on which so much of the rest of agriculture based economy depended. The ULP's indifference in relation to the responsibility they had assumed regarding the control of pests and diseases in bananas resulted in the devastation of the field by the black sigatoka disease. As a result, over 6,000 farmers have been robbed of regular income and 30,000 support workers who found regular employment in the industry have been seriously disadvantaged. This is where we are today, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I am arguing, is at the root of the large numbers of renters in Kingston trying to earn a living. I would hope that the members of unions, the leaders of unions, would take part in the discussions which we ought to be having in the next few months to determine how we go forward to save our society, you know. So long life to you and strength.
All right. Thank you.
And I accept your proposition. Yeah, I accept what he said.
All right. I know we were just talking convention a while ago. So I want you to wrap up with that before I move on with my question.
Well, I say this is the business session this Sunday. So you will not get the same vibes and hype, but it will. Much of it will be there. In that each constituency will put up 15 delegates to participate in the exercise to represent the constituencies to bring agenda matters to the table, which was still forward before, of course. There will be election and re-elections at Sunday at the meeting. There will be keynote speakers. There will be presentation. There will be reports by the chairman of the party. I believe by the general secretary of the party. Naturally, there are reports by the president of the party. We would in fact chart our course and our plans, which will be forwarded at the following week, Sunday, when we would have a keynote speaker to whip up the momentum and enthusiasm. And it's a good thing. Will be first of all will be new one, which as you just heard a while is not so shallow after all. And that people are going to be excited because we're in shallow country. And he has the back in there, of Patel. To get there, he has to pass so people the gateway.
And then centrally would
pick up a speed with Conroy and Marshy breaks when he reach one of them something, one of them bills to get in there. And,
I don't say
have a
Mashy breaks. After centrally was press gas.
Press gas.
All the way down to Leeward.
Press gas, and in Leeward we'll have a grand time. It'll be just yourselves. But I am looking forward to hear both Conroy and Kishore make substantial political presentations. It's more than likely those will come in their individual constituency meeting rather than the convention per se. But I'm sure the astute person that Dr. Friday is as leader of the party, he would certainly whet the appetite of
give them the shine.
Yeah, give them the chance there to really showcase them and let people know how much we are maintaining and momentum, because they would be inspiration to the rest of the party. Because I haven't met anybody who wasn't happy when they coming on board.
Exactly.
I haven't met a soul. In fact, I've heard the reverse. So many people. Major, we're so glad to see all the attracting young people and intelligent people, vibrant people, decent people to the party, And so they with the others who are in the in the news will be pressing the flesh and mixing, mingling, and the party will go forward.
All right. Let's take a call quickly. Caller, hello, welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon, Colin, and good afternoon, Major Sinclair.
Welcome.
You have to say good afternoon, Colin. Good afternoon, Major. This is the voice of Ebenezer, chairman of the North Rural constituency. Calling all, one and all. Chevron, Chevron, Chevron.
Thank you, Major. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to use a few minutes of your program to thank all the people who came out on Saturday night. It was a wonderful moment.
Friday night.
Although Dr. Friday was not there, but you played a real pivotal role in terms of leadership. That's the quality of the New Democratic Party. And we want to thank you in particular and all the other MPs who are there with us. We want to
Nigel and Daniel, yes.
That Chevron office is not just a building, but it's an institution that will transform North Windward, because she belongs to a great party with people who know the way forward for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is how the New Democratic Party demonstrate to St. Vincent and the Grenadines what leadership is all about.
I'm correct. You're the chairman for that constituency, aren't you? You're the chairman out there, isn't it?
Yes.
Right,
Major.
good. I just wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And it gives me great pleasure to be associated with a party for the poorer and working class of our country. It's not about fantasy and bragging rights and comparing with what happened and what didn't happen. The New Democratic Party is a party that demonstrates development by including the people, and that's what we were doing on Saturday night. All the people who work with Sister John to make that office up and running, they are people who know what the community needs. And we are so thankful for all the workers and everybody who pull their weight. And that office is for all of North Winod, and by extension for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I want to touch on a few topics that you touched earlier on, Major Liquor, which is one of the pillars of our economy, which is agriculture. As you know, North Windward backbone is agriculture. And we feel that we are not getting our fair share because when you look at North Windward has the most agricultural land. We have 3,000 acres of land that was acquired under the New Democratic Party land reform program. And today those lands are in grass. When the Unity Labour Party took over this country, we had 3 boats going to Trinidad carrying agriculture produce. Today, we have 1 boat going to Trinidad. And there's a prime minister who could farm still up. But you don't have a cash crop, and the traffickers who are bringing a weekly income to this country have a serious problem with the money exchange. And you can go and farm silak, and you could go to United Nations and sit on a bench, but you cannot rectify the bread and butter issues for the poor and working class in this country. And that is one of the things Major and myself and you have to have some discussion about, that trafficker thing, because to be honest, it's the only weekly income for the farmers of this country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a serious situation. Why do traffickers have to take things down to Trinidad and bring up goods to sell to pay a farmer?
Yeah.
With a postcode society. Come on. So I want to thank you again, and I want to thank all the people. And don't be afraid to come to the office. Miss John will be there. We don't have the timetable set up as yet, but Miss John is for all the people.
Thank you.
And I want to thank them and thank Miss John in particular and her husband to be by her side, that she can go to, because you know sometimes it's ups and downs, but you have to be strong and have hope.
Yes.
Thank you. Great program, Colin.
All right, thank you.
Blessings, Kelly.
All right, thank you. Good feeling that.
Yeah.
Very good
And
feeling.
that Kelly is a man who knows his politics. Eh?
Mhm.
I frequently take a drive to the country when I go. Kelly's a must pass. A must pass.
Good people.
All is well treated and seated there.
Of course. Good people's that. Good
I meet Brother Balcom there myself. Well, he did the backslide a little bit because his son Dinky trying to hijack and take him away from him and so forth. But
all right, we're coming to the end of the program. As part of the wrap up, I want to throw this question to you because you've over the years, just like many other members of the New Democratic Party, you've been very critical of Ralph Gonsalves himself and the Unity Labour Party. Interestingly, over the weekend I was watching a documentary. A lot has been transpiring in the United States. We have been seeing and hearing a lot of wealthy, powerful, and influential men, their rise and their fall. I was watching one recently over the weekend, and an interesting question that was posed to many persons who were contributing towards the interview of this documentary. They were asked, what is the legacy? So I'm going to ask you a similar question. What would be Ralph Gonsalves, in your opinions, legacy after the Unity Labour Party? Or what would be his legacy long after he's gone?
I think his legacy was that more than any other prime minister, he divided St. Vincent and the Grenadines along political lines, tribalism. and he just institutionalized it in many ways. You see it in the difficulty for people to become members of the important public service organizations, whether it's the police force, whether it's the nurse, become a nurse. Even where it should not happen in the public service, you see that. You see a predominance of his people at certain government institution, the port being a case in point. One doesn't get onto the public assistance program unless you are a supporter of the Unity Labour Party. He has branded and trademark victimization. You don't get education opportunities like it was before unless you wore a particular color. So I think if I was to mark, remember him, anything else is he will leave us investing on the ground is more divided than he met it. And having said that, you'll have to credit Houston on now Friday for being able to withstand those whirlwinds of destruction and to really be in the vanguard of defending our democracy and constitutional rule and civil independence. Even the mere fact, for example, that you could even have voted no confidence is one of our biggest and eternal shame. They literally stood up and said that you couldn't have demonstration in the town. He drove fear and trepidation to the hearts of too many young people, destroyed important building blocks in the country like the National Youth Council, and replaced them with police youth clubs, which is under his suzerainty. You use his own words, and literally speaking, bankrupt the economy. And whereas before then we had a thriving middle class to carry this country forward, in which we try to build the country as the Democratic Party advocates from the ground up, so that we have a strong middle class, which means that they have a vibrant economy. He has taken fundamentally a bottoms down, a top down approach to economic development, which is why you find tourism, for example, looms so large in his own architecture and his design. Because for the main part, he builds them and then he hopefully will give them out by way of management contracts and hope that those who own the premium resource of the country will spend and it will trickle down. We call it trickle down economics. We don't believe that. And so ultimately, in his own words, we would have been left with a hook in our gill, struggling for survival.
All right. So the final comments now, in face of all of that and what we have discussed here today, the way forward with the New Democratic Party.
First of all, you need, as you have in Dr. Friday, a leader who would be embracing, who would make St. Vincent be a place for all Vincentians, that you develop and promote a young breed of Vincentians who have a global view of life and living and would understand that St. Vincent could only be successful when it is all inclusive, and that it's for all of us. As the Jamaicans will say about expression, it's for we country. And Houston had a different way to put it. All are invited, all are welcome. And St. Vincent would only be a successful St. Vincent when it's firing on all pistons. You can't divide and rule and hope they have a successful generation of Vincentians. So for that, you really need change, and you need the New Democratic Party to be in place, and you need Dr. Friday as Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
All right. And I guess with that said, Major, I want to thank you very much.
With those few words.
Go
to your registration centers today, wherever they are in the 15th constituency, and we need ID cards. And like Colin would say, ready up.
Ready up. Folks, there you have it. I want to thank, of course, acting president of the New Democratic Party today, Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock, for being a part of the Newtimes program here today. This is where we're going to wrap things up. Godspeed, I'm going to be back again with you tomorrow in another edition of the Newtimes program, of course, where we will bring you more of the New Democratic Party's plans and policies for the way forward. So again, until then, may the Most High continue to guide us and protect us all, especially in these trying times. Do have a wonderful day.
Bonady Supermarket in Kingstown, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices. At Bonady Supermarket number 2, located at Upper Middle Street, we are proud to serve you. We are second to none. Call